China is being rocked by three political earthquakes, each more explosive than the last. First, the Yang Lanlan scandal. Once dismissed as a routine drunk driving case in Australia, it now looks like it's spiraling straight toward real prison time. Second, whispers out of Shenzhen. Did Xi Jinping's mother Qi Xin die in March? A midnight flight, 3 waiting cars, and Yang Lanlan's sudden entry into the ultra-secure Shenzhen Guesthouse suggests something urgent and dangerous was unfolding behind closed doors. Third, the September 3rd military parade. Insiders claim an emergency Plan B is already in place. If Xi falters, Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia could take the stage, and with it, the army's loyalty. That wouldn't just be a substitution, it would be a coup. 3 stories, 1 theme. Xi Jinping's grip on power has never looked weaker. Each revelation pushes him closer to collapse. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us. Yang Lanlan's scandal. Is prison now unavoidable? We begin today's episode with new revelations in the case of 23-year-old Yang Lanlan, a Chinese-born woman at the center of a devastating traffic crash in Australia. Commentator Li Muyang noted that most people believed Yang's August 15th hearing was delayed by her own lawyers. But one blogger who claims to have witnessed the entire Sydney session tells a different story. It was the police who demanded more time because they were preparing to unleash even harsher charges. On August 15th, Yang Lanlan appeared by video link, a move approved to avoid stirring public attention, proof she knew exactly how explosive her case had become. Once connected, the police announced they had additional evidence, strong enough to expand beyond the original 2 charges. The court granted the adjournment on their request, not the defense's. Her lawyer that day was Yu Zile, a Chinese attorney, suggesting the team was leaning toward a quick guilty plea. Why? Because pleading guilty doesn't require a high-priced barrister. You can do it with a smaller defense team. But when the police dropped the bombshell that more charges were coming, Yu Zile completely lost his footing. He was flustered, even stammering in court. With unknown charges looming, Yang's side could neither admit guilt nor fight back. They had no choice but to accept delay. And the stakes are rising fast. If prosecutors have proof of her blood alcohol level or eyewitness testimony, the case could be pushed up to the district court. There, a district prosecutor, not the police, takes over. Prosecutors are far tougher opponents. With drunk driving that left victims badly injured and public anger boiling, Yang's chances of buying her way out are fading. Prison is now a real possibility. In fact, Australia's laws on drunk driving are among the harshest in the world. Even a mid-range blood alcohol level can mean heavy fines, license suspension, and possible jail. But when drunk driving causes serious injury, as in Yang Lanlan's case, offenders face up to 10 years in prison. Or if it causes death, the maximum penalty rises to 14 years or more, depending on the state. In such cases, punishment is mandatory. No amount of money can erase criminal liability. The blogger's verdict? Yang thought she could plead guilty, throw money at the problem, and walk away lightly. But the police's escalation shattered that strategy. Now district court and real jail time are looming. But here's the twist. We can't confirm the blogger's account. Commentator Li Muyang points out it conflicts with reports from his colleague Zheng Fei, who live-streamed outside the courthouse. Zheng interviewed a lawyer who said Yang appeared by video alongside Yu Zile and a Western lead counsel, and that it was Yang's team, not the police, who requested the delay. In the next hearing, Yang is also expected to appear by video, not in person. 2 sharply different versions of the same hearing. Which is true? Hard to say. The next hearing has been set for September 26. Between now and then, we can expect more details to emerge, so stay tuned. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me. Yang Lanlan rushed to Shenzhen at midnight. Xi Jinping's mother, Qi Xin, dead? On August 19th, Sheng Shi, a well-known writer and vice chair of the Democratic China Front, dropped what she called top-secret information on her X account. According to her, on the night of March 8, 2025, Yang Lanlan boarded a flight from Sydney to Hong Kong. Waiting for her at the airport were 3 cars. She didn't stay in Hong Kong even for a moment. Instead, she stepped directly into a Lexus Alford van, crossed the border into Shenzhen and checked into the Shenzhen Guesthouse, where Shen claims she met her grandmother, Qi Xin, the elderly woman who bore a striking resemblance to her and doted on her. Sheng also revealed that Yang's mother is from Guangdong. Commentator Li Muyan argued that if this revelation is true, it would be a heavyweight leak. The person behind it clearly had insider knowledge, the exact flight time, the number of cars, the vehicle she entered, her destination, and the person she visited. The leak made one thing clear: Yang was Qi Xin's granddaughter and her mother came from Guangdong. But it left one critical gap: the identity of her father. That omission matters. Yang's parentage is still shrouded in mystery. Some say she is the illegitimate daughter of Xi Jinping, others claim she is the secret daughter of Xi Jinping himself. As Li pointed out, if Yang were Xi Jinping's child, sending 3 cars to the airport was possible, but unlikely. But if she were Xi Jinping's daughter, then such a high-level reception would make perfect sense. Then there's the flight itself. Li checked the schedules. On March 8, 4 direct flights ran from Sydney to Hong Kong. 3 departed in the morning and landed in the afternoon. But Yang, if the account is correct, chose Cathay Pacific CX-138, which left at 9:50 p.m. and landed at 4:05 a.m. the next day. Why such an unusual choice? Most long-haul travelers prefer to depart and arrive during daylight hours. Choosing a late-night departure with a pre-dawn arrival is unusual. Li suggested 2 possibilities. First, she wanted to avoid public attention, but given her status, she could have simply used a VIP channel, so this seems unlikely. The second, she had something urgent, so urgent that she took whichever flight would get her home fastest. Of course, this remains speculation. And what was so urgent? That question leads back to Qi Xin. In June, overseas Chinese media reported that Qi Xin, Xi Jinping's mother, had already passed away. The exact timing was unclear, and Chinese state media never confirmed it. Sheng Shui also noted in her post that the Shenzhen Guesthouse is no ordinary hotel. It is a high-security compound managed by the Central Guard Bureau and Guangdong's Provincial Guard, reserved for top CCP leaders, key foreign guests, and elite insiders. Even provincial officials cannot live there long-term, only the families of China's highest leaders. For years, Xi Jinping's mother, Qi Xin, has reportedly resided there. The reasons are clear. Climate. Shenzhen's warm weather is favorable for elderly health. Privacy. The city attracts less attention than Beijing or Shanghai, making it easier to remain out of sight. Security. The guest house offers maximum protection under elite guard. Access. Its proximity to Hong Kong facilitates the Xi family's overseas networks and assets. So here's the question. Was Yang's frantic return on March 8 directly tied to Qi Xin's failing health? In Chinese tradition, when an elder is gravely ill or near death, younger generations rush to be by their side one last time. Did Yang Lanlan return not for politics, but for family, and to say a final goodbye to her grandmother? For now, the truth cannot be confirmed, but the timing, the secrecy, and the urgency raise questions Beijing has yet to answer. If you're still watching, comment 1, so I know you're still with me. Plan B for the Sept 3rd parade revealed. Will Zhang Youxia replace Xi? September 3rd is supposed to showcase China's strength, a grand military parade in Beijing, with Xi Jinping at the center. The State Council announced he would preside, deliver a major speech, and review the troops. But then came unsettling reports. On August 15th, US-based commentator Hu Liren claimed that 3 of Shanghai's top medical experts had been urgently flown to Beijing's elite 301 hospital. Their mission: to treat a patient with an extremely sensitive identity. According to Hu, that patient was none other than Xi himself. The claim remains unverified, but it triggered a dangerous question. What if Xi is too unwell to lead? Just days later, on August 18th, former Navy Lieutenant Colonel Yao Cheng dropped a bombshell. Parade commanders had already prepared a secret contingency plan. The reason was clear. With factional rivalries boiling inside the CCP, the regime cannot afford even the slightest hint of weakness. Scenario 1. Xi Jinping presides. In the first scenario, Xi Jinping still appears on the reviewing stand as scheduled. Despite illness or internal pressure, his presence would be staged as a performance of absolute control. The image of Xi raising his hand to salute the troops under the red flag would send a message both inside China and to the outside world. I am still here. I am still in charge. This is a play Xi has run many times before. Since taking power in 2012, he has built the image of himself as the father of the nation, always present, always commanding. Every public appearance, whether at the G20 or a military parade, has been carefully choreographed by the CCP as a ritual of power. But there is one critical risk: his health. If Xi's condition is truly as weak as insiders suggest, the performance could backfire. A shaky walk, a forced smile, a trembling voice, each would be seized upon as proof that the supreme leader is no longer invincible. And in Chinese politics, even a momentary show of weakness can ignite doubt within the party elite, and sometimes spark rebellion. That's why Scenario 1 is the safest option for the party, but also a double-edged sword for Xi himself. Scenario 2. Zhang Youxia steps in. In the second scenario, if Xi cannot appear, the role would pass to Zhang Youxia. Who is Zhang Youxia? He is the vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, the number 2 in the military hierarchy, and once Xi's right-hand man. Born into a revolutionary family, Zhang's father fought alongside Xi's father during the Civil War. For years, that pedigree made Zhang seem untouchable, one of the few men Xi could consider family. But times have changed. Zhang is no longer the unquestioned ally. In recent meetings, he has openly asserted his independence. And if he steps onto that reviewing stand on September 3rd, it will not just be a substitution, it will be a statement: Xi Jinping is finished. Because in Chinese politics, the military is not just an instrument of violence, it is the last pillar holding the regime together. If Zhang appears instead of Xi, it means the military has chosen sides. And when the military chooses sides, that is not substitution. That is a coup. Some experts call this scenario the knife in the back. Xi built his rule by purging generals, tightening his grip on the CMC, and turning the PLA into a force loyal to him personally. But if Zhang, the most trusted of all, emerges as the replacement, it would be undeniable proof that the military no longer belongs to Xi. And in history, once the military turns against the ruler, the regime never remains the same. Scenario 3. Liu Zhenli as compromise. In the third scenario, if relations between Xi and Zhang collapse completely, a compromise candidate steps in. Liu Zhenli, chief of the Joint Staff Department. What does Liu represent? Safe, neutral, collective. He is not a Xi loyalist, nor fully aligned with Zhang. He is the middle ground, someone both camps could accept, temporarily. But safety comes with weakness. Liu lacks Zhang's historical prestige. He lacks Xi's political authority. He is a technocrat, a placeholder. If Liu steps onto the reviewing stand, salutes the troops, and shouts, "Comrades, you've worked hard," but the soldiers below remain silent, then that moment would not stabilize the regime, it would expose its collapse. In expert analysis, Scenario 3 is like putting a bandage on a mortal wound. It may buy time, but it cannot save the patient. Historical parallels. These three scenarios all have historical echoes. In 1976, after Mao Zedong's death, Hua Guofeng was elevated as a safe compromise, but he was too weak, too cautious. Within a few short years, he was swept aside, and Deng Xiaoping seized the reins, reshaping China for decades to come. The lesson? A placeholder leader rarely survives for long. In 1989, the Tiananmen crisis nearly split the People's Liberation Army itself. Some commanders refused to deploy troops against students, others demanded action. For weeks, it seemed the party might collapse. In the end, the hardliners prevailed, but at the cost of bloodshed and legitimacy. The lesson? When the military fractures, the entire system shakes. And in 2012, elite infighting once again reached the surface. The downfall of Bolshoi and the purging of Zhou Yongkang cleared the path for Xi Jinping. He rose from compromise candidate to paramount leader. But that struggle revealed something even more dangerous. Even in a system as tightly sealed as the CCP, power can shift overnight. Now, in 2025, Beijing again faces a historic moment. Whoever stands on the reviewing platform on September 3rd will decide the message China sends to the world. What do you think? Will Xi stand on the reviewing platform as planned, or will Beijing witness a shocking twist? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the most urgent analysis on China.